Bear Independent Brief, 3 October 25. Federal government shutdown, blah, blah, blah. 750,000 government workers facing furloughs, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you guys are all tracking. And we're going to be a little on script, a little off script today. We also have national intel. We also have some analysis from me for you regarding potentially the coming unpleasantness. So stay tuned. Stay locked in. Okay. Government shutdown. Yeah, everybody's tracking, blah, blah, blah. Trump is doing a phenomenal job of trolling the Democrats right now with the fake AI videos of Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, et cetera, all of which is being done in order to force public opinion to push blame on the Democrats, not the Republicans and Trump, for the government shutdown. That works in Trump's favor because, in his own words, paraphrasing as he has expressed on many occasions on many platforms, he now has the latitude, the authority, the permission, the public permission to do what he wanted to do with Doge now that the government is shut down. He can furlough or fire tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people due to a lack of appropriations. That's the primary reason behind the government shutdown. So this is like best case possible for Trump right now when it comes to government shutdown. This is great. He gets to make the Democrats look like a bunch of idiots, which frankly is not that hard to do. Although be careful to clap and cheer for the Republicans because most of them are just pieces of trash as well. But he gets to make the Democrats look like a bunch of idiots, and he gets to cut a lot of the dead weight, which is not just from a fiscal standpoint, although fiscal is definitely important. It's also from an ideological standpoint. Lots of reporting has come out about Hegseth and Trump at Quantico with the 800 admirals and generals assembled, gathered, ordered to attend in Quantico. The height and weight standards, biannual PT tests for the brass, and that's all talking points. That's the front-facing stuff. That's what people saw. That's what they allowed you to see. They allowed me to see. I can't tell you what happened after that meeting, but there's been a lot of public discussion about whether or not this was a loyalty test. Analysis, opinion now shifting here. Yeah, it was. Not only was it a loyalty test, the military and the military-industrial complex is deeply infected by our adversaries, to include the Chinese. So hypothetically now, hypothetically, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, there were two doors, two exits. You can move to the left and be stripped of your rank and your credentials and your clearances, or you can move to the right, or you can receive verbal orders. Verbal. Now, continuing on. So yeah, cyber attacks abound. They continue to abound. We'll get to that in the national intel here at the end of the brief. There's some chatter about FEMA not being able to keep its doors open due to the federal shutdown. I'd like to remind everyone yet again that for every $1 that FEMA spends publicly on national or natural disaster response, they spend $26 privately on COOP and COG. Continuity of operations and continuity of government. That's why they fall under the banner of DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. It's not because of all their good works after hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires. That's all cover for action because dual-use, tri-use, quad-use infrastructure, the commo infrastructure, natural disaster infrastructure, humanitarian aid infrastructure, the trucking, the logistics, all of that has a humanitarian aid application on the public civilian side for you and I, asterisk, after a storm, unless you got a Trump sign in your front yard. But more importantly, it has defense and logistics and governmental capability. And that's primarily what it's used for, to say nothing of the vast majority of what FEMA actually does that never rises above the threshold of detection. So that's just a talking point. That's just a media talking point. Oh, what happens now if there is a storm? It's storm season and FEMA shut down to the federal government. The federal government shutdown is a win for Trump. He likes it that way. And believe me, they're still spending our money behind the curtain right now. Extra intel. Then I want to get to some analysis here in a minute. I also want to do a nice shout out for everybody over on Patreon, patreon.com. You can search for Bear Independent, or you can go to bearindependent.com. There's a link to the Patreon there. It's $10 a month, and all the exclusive content is over there. It's also the beginning of the month, so it's the best time of month to sign up or re-sign up for Patreon. It's the economic engine of the Bear Nation. I make no money from X. I make peanuts from YouTube. Rumble sucks shit, regardless of how many times people tell me to get on there, because I've been on Rumble for a couple, 3 years, and it's just a terrible platform. So it's Patreon that keeps the boat afloat, and I appreciate you boys and girls deeply for that. Another national intel at bearindependent.com, intel at bearindependent.com. Bear, what's the email? Intel at bearindependent.com to provide your own intel. Not Bear, watch this video or read this link. No, thank you. By the way, most of that shit is PSYOP and narrative crafting anyway, right? If it's front-facing, OSINT, public-sourced information, you have to always consider the source, and 9 out of 10 times the source is trash anyway. And that's done intentionally so that people feel like they're getting, there's the story, there's the counter story, there's the left, the right, the up, the down, the green, the red, the blue, the purple, whatever, right? But people feel like they're well-informed about this subject when the subject itself is a red herring. So I'm not particularly interested in that. What I'm interested in is what you are seeing and what you are experiencing and what you are hearing with your own eyeballs and your own earballs. Intel at bearindependent.com. Another potential cyber attack. These are all quotes. I'm not going to say quote over and over again. Flying through Dallas International Tuesday, 22 September, approx 1300. All American airline gate computers went down for 20 minutes. No access to any information or ability to board. Upon the system coming back online and boarding the plane, we sat on the tarmac for an hour as 2 out of the 3 onboard computers were unresponsive to pilots. What a great time to not fly. There are ongoing, persistent, zero-day exploits right now. We're going to talk about 911 here in a moment. Yesterday, the second largest cell phone tower provider in North America was down. Down Detector. www.downdetector.com. It's a great place to catch some OSINT, some real OSINT, not narrative crafting. There have been, this is weeks long, ongoing, persistent, and it, high side, affects the highest levels. We'll just leave that at that. I will also add to this. If you have a newer vehicle, like I have a 2024 Chevy 1-ton pickup, and it does over-the-air updates to the software in the truck. I have noticed in the last few weeks that my headlights blink once every 10 seconds. Talked to another brother who's like, yeah, I got one of those vehicles that does that. They're having headlight issues as well, and other electronic anomalies. What about you? If you have one of those vehicles, put it in the comments down below. Do you have one of those vehicles that's acting weird here lately? And how deep do the cyber exploits go? We'll talk about that with my analysis here in a moment. Next bit of national intel. I'm at a friend's bug out location near Georgetown, California at 02:30 Pacific time. A loud aircraft flew over at a high power setting. It sounded like a heavy loaded KC-135, but the noise lasted for just over 2 minutes, way too long for a tanker climbing out. And I remembered what the NASA U-2 sounded like taking off from Moffett Field, and that made more sense. The prolonged loud sound may indicate multiple aircraft. In the 10 years I've been in the area, I've never heard anything like that fly over. My friend has been up here for over 30 years, and it was a first for them too. The ADSB app on my phone showed no aircraft within 10 miles. The military turns off ADSB on operational missions because they can. Beale Air Force Base is home of the TR-1 and is 35 miles away as the crow flies. If you draw a line from Beale to Georgetown Airport, it points to international waters that might be supporting operations in the Gulf around Venezuela. Next, from approximately 2 to 5 p.m. today, 9/11 systems for Louisiana and Mississippi, where I'm located, were unavailable. This is widespread nationally. And again, if you're out there having 911 issues, write in intel at bearindependent.com or put it in the comments down below. Reports from AT&T claim that some fiber optic cables were accidentally cut, causing the outages. While that's entirely possible, it's a cover story because in the past cables have been cut before, and so it's an explanation that the civilian populace is willing to accept because it's more of the same. It does not become an outlier. What is not being discussed is, again, significant zero-day exploits that are ongoing. Prepping the battle space, anyone? Whether it was an accident or not, it's a good reminder that the system is fragile and no one is coming to save you. Now, those two things are incredibly true. The system is obnoxiously fragile. In other words, stop leaning upon the splintered staff of Mitzrayim of Egypt and start taking your own safety and security seriously. Disengage from this broken, fragile system so that when it fails, you don't fail with it. And no one is coming to save you. Because the local municipalities will not have the capability when this thing goes widespread hot. We'll talk about widespread hot in a minute. And FEMA certainly ain't coming to save you because that ain't their job. $26 to $1. For every $1 spent on natural disaster, $26 is spent on continuity of operations and continuity of government. Next, I live in Lower Alabama. Yesterday, my wife and I both received phone alerts that the 911 system for the entire state of Alabama was down. So that gives us Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. Interesting. Much later, we received alerts that our country's system was back up, or our county's system was back up. I later learned that Mississippi's system also had been down due to a, quote, cutting of fiber optic cable. Next, Mississippi 911 service went down yesterday, the 25th, for about 3 hours from 3 to 6. Emergency broadcast via cell service was used to notify everyone in Mississippi. Emergency broadcast via cell service, even though yesterday Down Detector, the second largest cell tower company in North America, was down. Have you talked to Evan at Radio Made Easy yet? Do you have one of these? For those on audio or passive consumption, I'm holding up a Yaesu FT65R, dual channel handheld radio, 5 watts, 3 different power settings, half a watt, 2 watts, and 5 watts. Why would you need that? No, because our signature in the field. It's a whole different conversation. Evan, radiomadeeasy.com. My company leases 40 tandem axle power units from Ryder. We have not received any invoices or daily fuel pricing since the end of August. We typically receive this information weekly. After the second week of not getting either invoices or daily fuel pricing, I sent an email to our contact person and was informed that they are having computer issues. We started receiving invoices and the daily fuel pricing on 23 September. What was impacted? Invoice for fuel and repairs and daily fuel pricing. What was not impacted? Drivers were able to get fuel. Repairs were able to be completed as needed. This sounds like Ryder was hacked or a glitch in an update to their systems. This could have been a huge deal of fuel and repairs. This could have been a huge deal if fuel and repairs were part of this outage. Just you wait, Buttercup. Just you wait. Now, side note, the Colonial Pipeline has been shut down due to maintenance, and the El Segundo Chevron plant has exploded. And I would bet dollars to donuts that it was not an accident. Okay? So if you haven't fueled your tank lately, it's Friday, payday for most people. I'd top off the gas cans, the diesel cans, the fuel tanks. Next, not sure if it was a life saved, but it was a life helped. An elderly lady fell off a float at a parade today. She hit the back of her head hard and was bleeding badly. Head wounds do that. A lot of capillaries in the head. I just made my wife and I both bags to keep in the cars yesterday out of my supplies from Refuge Medical. The Lord told me and my family to be in the right place at the right time. Luckily, the fire department was 300 yards away and took over, but I'm glad I was there when I was. Well, good job. I'm glad you did that. Made in America, guaranteed forever. RefugeMedical.com. 158 lives saved to date. Visit the store. If we can help you in any way, we will. Oh, also, it's Refuge's birthday. I'm putting together, and I and the team are putting together, a big box that is a birthday present. It will literally be gift wrapped. It already has an adventure kit in it. And it'll be $2,000, $2,500 worth of stuff. And you can get a chance to win that if you buy a piece of cake. You want to be entered to win that piece of cake. Just go to RefugeMedical.com, search cake. You can buy a piece of cake for $5. You buy 100 pieces of cake, you got 100 chances to win. You buy 2 pieces of cake, you got 2 chances to win. Okay? refugemedical.com. Get a piece of cake and get whatever freaking med gear you need when you get there as well. Because I'll be completely frank with you. I'm still on this campaign to just try and get normal people to carry med gear because you are your own first responder and you will be at 100% of your own emergencies, while at the same time interfacing with agencies, organizations at the government level that I cannot openly discuss, I cannot disclose. But suffice it to say, there's more gray hair in my beard and on my chest today than there has been in a while. And I will say this, your government and your Department of Defense, Department of War is taking very seriously the need for medical capability right now. And I've said before and I'll say again, it feels very much so pre-Ukraine, post-October 7th, post the immediacy of COVID as far as supply chain and availability right now, and just the size and the quantity of orders that are coming in. And I have a duty and a responsibility to keep you all informed for the preservation of life so that you can do the things that you need to do to be part of the solution, not part of the problem when this balloon goes up. When, not if, but when. So if you don't have what you need, get what you need. You check that box. Good. Breathe a sigh of relief. Continue on with your life. And here's the thing. Med preps are one of the only preps that are useful now in everyday life, not just when the balloon goes up. So as far as prioritizing prep spend, yeah, if you're currently circulating blood and breathing air right now, then this is applicable right now, not just when the balloon goes up. Like, should I get a gas mask? Like, I don't know. Do you have a robust medical supply and know how to use it? Okay, continuing. So I'm scrolling and found a random video talking about heavy equipment master key sets. Yep, you can buy on Amazon. Yep, have them in all my trucks. So I looked, and what do you know? You can, and they're affordable, like stupid affordable. I'm not advocating for breaking Yah's commands by stealing, but if tribulation hits and the world is falling apart, I can see where a D6 or a D9 dozer or whatever might come in handy. Before you start picking this apart with logistics and fuel and know-how, etc., all I'm saying is this could be handy, just as handy as having a lockpick set in your EDC or bug-out bag. Out-of-the-box thinking leads to getting shit done, and I'm all about getting shit done. Like you say all the time, having the mindset to act or intervene for preservation of life. That intervening has many looks and methods. I agree. And there's a note from the Dance Monkeys, our intel team, that says the Dance Monkeys like this way too much. Yeah, you can get them. You can get them from Bezos. They're usually about $1 a key. John Deere, Caterpillar, Komatsu, Hitachi Link Belt, Kubota. A handful of others, right? The 12 to 20 key set, good to go. And anyway, I got lots of them. And I got lots of them because I've been running heavy equipment since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So, next and last, Shalom Bear. I do work both in commercial and residential settings directly in the Portland area. I live over an hour away and keep things on me. My goal is to bring awareness to the actual boots on the ground situation here, as currently this city is making a lot of headlines. The picture being painted is to make everything appear similar to BLM and other riots during Trump's first presidency. I understand bringing federal law enforcement in to assist ICE. The conversation around bringing in the National Guard to handle the situation kind of screams cover for action, given that the situation seems relatively normal for Oregon and the problems we're seeing are pretty small and isolated. In my honest opinion, the streets of Portland have drastically improved compared to the past 10 years, as someone that feels very comfortable in the city in general. Maybe you can help shed some light objectively on this situation. To me, most of the people I come into contact with seem broken, not so much like violent extremists. Thanks. Okay, that's the last of our extra intel, which leads me to analysis and opinion and commentary. 20 minutes deep. I'll try and keep this to 5 minutes or less because I know average American drive time is 22 minutes. And I know you boys and girls probably got other stuff to do today other than listen to me yap my jaws. So here we go. Wrap the tinfoil around your head. All of this is hypothetical. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay? There. Caveats, asterisks, all of that. This is all make-believe. Where do we start? Okay, first things first. We know we've got Russia, Iran, China as our top bad guys, right? We know that the United States Marine Corps has shifted to a littoral combat outlook officially since 2011. They are very serious about that. Take me at my word. They are very serious about that. We also know the Replicator drone program in Southeast Asia, designed to swarm at least 5,000 explosive-laden small jet ski-sized underwater drones to make the literal word was hellscape, to make the South China Sea a hellscape for China. Your Department of Defense, Department of War is taking war with China very seriously right now. If/when that kicks off, I would say when that kicks off, hypothetically speaking, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cells, not people, cells, here in the United States of America that are looking at things like that going hot. And that's their sign. They don't need coordinated messaging across secure commo. They just got to look. And then they go hot. Not only here in the United States of America, but AFRICOM, Indo-PACOM, Europe, Eastern Europe, NATO bloc regions, bloc nations. That's why you're seeing a lot of proof of concept and pre-operational intelligence going on there. South America as well. All at the same time. Which brings us to zero-day exploits. Anything that's got a computer in it or that touches the internet is targetable. Okay? What does that mean? So we've talked previously about Stuxnet and Siemens programmable logic controllers. That's just one small piece of that problem set right there. But that means anything that you derive from your municipality, anything that you derive from outside of your home, water, sewer, electricity, communications, internet, all of that, expect it to go off at the same time. At the same time, the domestic bad actors, DVEs, domestic violent extremists, who have been enabled for decades by insider threats here in the United States of America, as well as insider threats that may or may not have been in the Oval Office recently, but no longer. All that equipment, all that training pre-positioned throughout the country, which goes back to FEMA's job is continuity of operations, continuity of government, which goes back to cover for action for National Guard, which goes back to, hypothetically speaking, pre-positioning guard units around the country. At the same time that hot war happens, so all around the world, which forces the United States of America, the most capable military force on the planet Earth, to fight everywhere at the same time, all at once. Now I want you to think back to history, just a two-front war. How often is a two-front war won? Rarely. Incredibly intense from a logistical standpoint. I cannot tell you the numbers, but I have seen the projections from an agency, and it's horrendous. The first 48 hours is horrendous, which is why I get so fucking frustrated when I'm like, could you please just carry a weapon to church and know how to shoot it? Could you please just have a tourniquet in your back pocket and know how to use it? Could you please just have a commo plan? And so many people are walking around like moronic sheep, just completely oblivious to the threats that exist. Now, there's probability and there's likelihood. Everything's possible, but not everything's probable, okay? Could all this happen at the same time? Yes, it could. Will it all happen at the same time? That's their intent. When will it happen? Sooner than expected. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. But I will say this, maybe that colors some of our interpretation of Trump's stance with China, overtly and covertly, to be able to maybe get the dragon to calm down a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe delay the inevitable there. But it's big. It's ugly. And so I want you to think about domestic violent extremists at the same time as civil unrest, at the same time as cyber attacks, denial of service, possibly EMPs, at the same time as international war, at the same time as a complete breakdown of supply chain and logistics, with no outside help, no power, no water, no sewer, no transpo, no internet, no telecommunications. What you got, you have what you have. That's it. Ugly. Very, very, very ugly. Fill your fuel tanks. Make sure you got your beans, your bullets, your Band-Aids. If you need any help with the Band-Aids part, refugemedical.com. We source everything from literally Band-Aids to literally field hospitals. If there's something you need help with, refugemedical.com. Call us, shoot us an email, use the chat function on the store, and don't be an ass. Come to class. We've got a handful of public classes left this year, October 26th and 27th, and November 9th through 11th in vicinity of Spiro, Oklahoma. Also, to all my pastors, my elders, and my congregants out there, the Defender Series. The Defender Series. Click the training tab, refugemedical.com. Or if you need us to come to you, we will. I got to bounce. I appreciate y'all. Share the shit out of this because it's the only way we grow.